Welcome back to Bookish Notes, a place to share little reflections from great books. You don't need a title to be a leader. You don't need to be a manager, a supervisor, or the head of a team, because real leadership isn't about giving orders, it's about earning trust. And that starts with empathy. In the first three parts of this series, we explored Part 1, 3 fundamental principles in dealing with people. Never criticize, condemn, or complain. Give honest and sincere appreciation, and arouse in others an eager want. Part 2, 6 ways to make people like you by being genuinely interested, smiling, remembering names, and listening well. Part 3, 12 ways to win people to your way of thinking, without arguments, without pressure, just with understanding. And now in Part 4, we enter the most delicate part of communication, how to lead someone, how to help them improve without hurting their pride. This is not about authority. This is about influence with kindness. These 9 principles are for anyone who wants to guide, inspire, and uplift, whether you're a parent, a teacher, a friend, or a team leader. Because the best kind of leadership doesn't demand change, it invites it. Let's begin. Principle 1, begin with sincere praise. People often shut down when they feel criticized, but they open up when they feel seen, valued, and appreciated. There was a manager at a small tech company in Seattle. One of his team members, Rachel, consistently turned in reports that were accurate but always late. The manager could have said, "Rachel, your deadlines are a problem." Instead, he said, "Rachel, your reports are some of the most thorough and thoughtful I've seen. I really appreciate the detail you bring. If we can get them just a bit earlier, I know they'll have even more impact." Rachel didn't feel attacked. She felt trusted and motivated. Within 2 weeks, her reports were not only on time, they were ahead of schedule. When you start with genuine praise, you lower someone's defenses. You let them know you're not here to tear them down. You're here to help them grow. Sincere appreciation is not manipulation. It's recognition of what's real, and when spoken from the heart, it builds the bridge for any honest conversation that follows. Principle 2, call attention to people's mistakes indirectly. No one likes to be called out in front of others. Even in private, direct criticism can sting. But when feedback is delivered gently, even subtly, it's far more likely to be received with openness instead of resistance. Take the case of Tom, a restaurant owner in Chicago. One evening, he noticed that a new server, Jake, had been forgetting to refill customers' drinks. Instead of pulling Jake aside and saying, "You're not doing your job," Tom waited for a quiet moment and said with a smile, "Jake, you know what I've always admired about our best servers? They somehow manage to notice when a glass is half empty before the customer even realizes it." Jake got the message. He wasn't embarrassed, he wasn't scolded, but he immediately understood what needed to change. A soft reminder, a story, a question, or even a compliment with a hint. All of these are ways to guide someone without making them feel small. Indirect feedback doesn't weaken your message. It simply delivers it in a way that protects the other person's dignity, and that makes all the difference. Principle 3, talk about your own mistakes before criticizing the other person. It's human nature. We're far more willing to accept feedback from someone who admits they've been there too. When we show our own imperfections, we create a space where others don't feel judged, they feel understood. Imagine a marketing director in New York named Sarah. One of her junior team members, Brian, made a formatting mistake in a client pitch deck, something small but noticeable. Instead of saying, "Brian, you should have caught that," Sarah laughed and said, I still remember the time I sent out a proposal with the client's name misspelled on the cover. It took me weeks to recover from the embarrassment. I've learned to always do one last check, even when I'm tired. Brian smiled and got the point. No defensiveness, no hurt pride, just a quiet note to improve next time. By sharing our own missteps first, we show that making mistakes doesn't make someone unworthy, it just makes them human. And when people feel safe being human, they're far more open to growth. Principle 4. Ask questions instead of giving direct orders. People naturally resist being told what to do, especially when it feels like a command. But when we pose a question, we give others the chance to think, respond, and choose. It turns a demand into a dialogue. There was a senior nurse in a Dallas hospital named Angela. A new nurse, Kevin, had placed a supply cart in the wrong hallway, blocking an emergency exit. Angela could have said, "Move that cart, you're violating safety protocol." Instead, she approached calmly and asked, "Hey Kevin, do you think this is the safest place for the cart during a code blue?" Kevin immediately realized his mistake and replied, "You're right, I'll move it now." A simple question avoided confrontation and created a learning moment without shame. Asking questions like, "What do you think about trying it this way? Is there a reason we didn't go with plan A? How can we make this more efficient together?" invites cooperation, not resistance. Because when people are part of the solution, they become more committed to the outcome. Principle 5. Let the other person save face. Few things hurt more than being embarrassed, especially in front of others. When someone feels humiliated, they shut down. But when we protect their dignity, even in the middle of correction, we preserve the relationship and their motivation to do better. Michael, a team lead at a San Francisco design firm, once noticed that one of his interns, Lisa, had accidentally used an outdated logo in a client presentation. They were about to enter the meeting when he spotted the mistake. He didn't say, "You used the wrong file. How could you miss this?" Instead, he leaned over and said quietly, "Hey, this might have been the older version of the logo. Easy mistake. I've mixed them up myself before. Let's swap it out real quick so we're all set." No shame, no blame, just a smooth correction that kept Lisa's confidence intact. Everyone makes mistakes, but not everyone gets the chance to fix them with their pride still standing. By helping someone save face, you're not just being kind, you're showing leadership that earns lasting respect. Principle 6. Praise the slightest improvement and praise every improvement. Growth takes time, and often it's the small steps, not the big leaps, that matter most. When we notice and acknowledge those small steps, we give others the encouragement they need to keep going. There was a high school teacher in Denver named Mr. Harris. One of his students, Jordan, had struggled with writing all semester. His essays were messy, unfocused, and late. But one day, Jordan turned in a paper that, while far from perfect, showed a real effort to organize his thoughts. Instead of focusing on what still needed fixing, Mr. Harris said, Jordan, I can see you really worked on your structure this time. Your ideas are clearer, and that's progress. Keep building on that." Jordan didn't just hear praise, he felt seen. And the next paper, even better. When you recognize the smallest win, you fuel momentum. You let someone know, "I noticed the side, you're moving forward, don't stop." Praise is not about perfection, it's about progress and the belief that improvement is possible. Principle 7. Give the other person a fine reputation to live up to, and make faults seem easy to correct. When people make mistakes, they often feel ashamed or discouraged. But if you approach the situation with encouragement, as if the error is small and fixable, you give them hope, not pressure. Take Olivia, a shift supervisor at a coffee shop in Portland. One of the new baristas, Marcus, kept forgetting to greet customers with a smile. Some regulars had even started to notice. Instead of saying, "Marcus, you're making a bad impression," Olivia pulled him aside and said, "Marcus, you're one of the most genuine people I've met. Customers would love to see that. A small smile when you say hi, that alone will make their day." She didn't act like the issue was huge or permanent. She made it sound easy to fix and reminded him of his strengths in the process. Marcus didn't feel criticized. He felt encouraged. And in the next shift, he greeted everyone with a smile, naturally. When you make faults feel easy to correct, you help someone move forward without fear. Because what people need most when they've messed up is the belief that they can make it right. Principle 8. Make the other person feel that the idea is theirs and that they can do it. People are far more likely to follow through when they believe in their own ability and when they feel the decision was theirs to begin with. Encouragement is powerful, but belief in someone's potential is transformational. A startup founder in Austin named Daniel wanted his junior developer, Emily, to take the lead on a small product demo. Emily was hesitant. She had never presented in front of clients before. Instead of saying, "You need to do this," Daniel said, "Emily, you know this feature better than anyone. You've debugged it, refined it, and improved it. I honestly can't think of anyone better to walk the client through it. What do you think? Want to give it a shot?" Emily paused, then nodded. "Yeah, I think I can." He didn't push. He made her see her own capability, and that made the difference. When people believe, "I can do this," they rise to the occasion. So show them what they're already doing right, and remind them of the strengths they may have forgotten. Sometimes the only thing standing between someone and success is someone else saying, "I believe you've got this." Principle 9. Make the other person happy to do the thing you suggest. People don't respond well to pressure, but they do respond to purpose. If you can connect your request to something meaningful or present it in a way that sparks pride or enthusiasm, others will not only agree, they'll do it gladly. Consider Jason, a project coordinator in a Los Angeles nonprofit. He needed one of his teammates, Asha, to stay late and help finish a grant proposal. He could have said, "We need this done. Can you stay late?" Instead, he said, "Aisha, you have such a great eye for catching tone and clarity. That final edit you did last time really impressed the donors. If we could have your touch on this proposal, I think it'll make a real difference. Would you be willing to help us wrap it up tonight?" Aisha smiled and said, "Of course." When people feel valued, respected, and connected to the impact of what they're doing, they say yes with energy, not obligation. The best suggestions aren't orders in disguise. They're invitations to contribute, and when offered with sincerity, they make people want to say yes. Leadership isn't about commanding others, it's about bringing out the best in them, with patience, with understanding, and with heart. In this final part of our journey through how to win friends and influence people, we've discovered 9 gentle yet powerful principles. Begin with sincere praise. Call attention to mistakes indirectly. Talk about your own mistakes before criticizing. Ask questions instead of giving orders. Let the other person save face. Praise even the smallest improvement. Encourage and make faults seem easy to fix. Help others believe they can do it. And make your suggestion something they want to do. None of these techniques are manipulative. They are, at their core, acts of respect. Because to lead someone, truly lead them, is to believe in who they are and in who they can become. So whether you're guiding a team, raising a child, coaching a friend, or simply trying to build better relationships, lead with kindness, lead with humility, lead with empathy. Thank you for listening. And remember, people are never problems to fix. They are possibilities to grow.